She had 7 jars, now she had none. She stood in the wreckage, 43 years old, barefoot, bleeding, and she laughed. Not joy, not madness, something else, relief. But we need to go back to understand why breaking everything was the only way to save herself 8 months earlier, before the jars, before the breaking. Her name was Iris Chen. She was a financial planner, good at math, bad at living. She could calculate compound interest in her head. She could project retirement earnings 40 years out. But she couldn't remember the last time she felt light. Her days were systems. Repeat. She was empty. The problem wasn't discipline. It was that discipline had become her entire identity. The text came on a Thursday from her sister, Maya. 3 words. Dad is dying. Iris stared at the screen. Her father, William. They hadn't spoken in 4 years. She flew home. Singapore to Portland. 18 hours. Enough time to rehearse the conversation. William was a dreamer. That sounds romantic. It wasn't. Dreamers forget to pay bills. Dreamers start businesses that fail. Dreamers promise things they can't deliver. Iris learned early. Don't dream. Plan. Don't trust people. Trust systems. She'd spent her life being the opposite of her father. Responsible, reliable, cold. The hospital was quiet. Maya met her in the lobby. He's been asking for you. Since when does he ask for anything? Since he realized he's out of time. Room 412. Iris paused at the door. Through the window she saw him. Smaller now, thinner, skin like paper, but those eyes still dreaming. She entered. He turned, smiled. There she is, my little calculator. She'd hated it as a child. She hated it now. Dad, sit, please. I need to give you something. It's not money. You know me. I never had money. Inside 7 glass jars. These were your mother's. Iris's breath caught. Life has 7 jars. Everyone fills them differently. The first is necessity. This one fills itself. Food, shelter, safety. You don't choose it, it chooses you. Desire. This jar is what you want. Beyond survival, beyond need. The things that make you feel alive. Dancing, poetry, sunrise walks. You, actually. Identity. Who you believe you are. The story you tell yourself. This jar is dangerous, Iris, because we fill it with other people's opinions. We think it's ours. It's not. Fear. Everything you avoid, everything you won't name. Fear lies, Iris. It tells you the jar is bigger than it is. Her hands were gripping her knees now. 5th jar. He continued, relentless. Regret. The things you didn't do, the words you didn't say. This jar is heaviest, and most people don't look inside until it's too late. Love. Not romance, not obligation, real love. The kind that stays when it's hard. Your mother's was full every single day. This jar she protected. 7th jar. William lifted it slowly. The label read, Iris. This one is yours. What's supposed to go in it? That's what you need to figure out. You calculated your way into a life that doesn't have room for glass jars. Stop. You dreamed while we struggled. I became this because someone had to be responsible. William nodded slowly. You're right. I failed necessity. And you filled yours so full, there was no room for anything else. Empty containers. Waiting. There's something else. A letter from your mother. She asked me to give it to you when you were ready. When you've built walls so high you can't see over them. My darling Iris, life is not about filling jars. It's about knowing which ones to empty. Fear? Empty it. Regret? Empty it. The only jars worth keeping full are love and the seventh one. Don't maintain, Iris. Live. I love you. Past death, past time, past everything. Mom. A single sob breaks the silence. Break what needs breaking. I don't know how to forgive you. I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to empty the jar marked fear and the one marked regret before it's too late. She held on for the first time. William died on a Sunday, quietly, in his sleep. 5 months later, Iris Chen quit her job. Not dramatically, just finished. She'd spent 20 years filling necessity. It was full. It was time to stop. She left the calculations behind. She left the blue monitor light. She left the color-coded folders. She left the version of herself that only knew how to survive. It was time to learn how to live. She moved to a smaller apartment, closer to the park, closer to the silence. She realized that safety isn't found in systems. It's found in presence. She was learning to breathe. She took the 7 jars home, set them on her kitchen table, each one a container for a truth she had forgotten. She started filling them, one by one. Necessity, a small apartment, simple food, a safe place to sleep. Enough. She stopped calculating the cost of everything. She started tasting the value. It was enough. This jar fills itself, her father had said. But Iris realized she could choose how to honor it, not with hoarding, but with gratitude. Necessity was no longer a burden. Desire. Piano lessons she put off for decades. Morning walks without a fitness app. Letters to friends she'd neglected in her years of optimization. The things that make her feel alive. The things that make you feel alive. Sunrise walks, terrible poetry, dancing in the kitchen. She was filling her desire jar with the light she had missed for so long. Identity. She wrote a new story, one that included her father, included his dreams, included her own mistakes. A story of being, not calculating. She was more than her systems. Who you believe you are. This jar is dangerous, William had warned. So Iris emptied the opinions of others. She filled it with her own quiet truths. She was becoming herself. Fear. She held the jar over the sink every morning, poured it out, nothing to pour, but the ritual mattered. To remind herself that fear is a liar. It tells you the jar is bigger than it is. Everything you avoid, everything you won't name, she named it, and then she let it wash away. The jar was empty, and she was safe. Finally, safe. Regret. She wrote to everyone she'd hurt, mailed the ones that mattered, burned the ones that were just weights. She released all of them. Regret? Empty it. It's already past. The things you didn't do, the words you didn't say. She said them now, in the letters, in the silence. She wouldn't carry them anymore. The jar was empty. Love. She called Maya every week, showed up for dinner, stayed present, let herself need someone again. Real love costs something, and it's worth it. It stays when it's hard. Your mother's was full, every single day. Iris made sure hers was too. She protected this jar. She filled it with Maya, with memories, with the messy, beautiful reality of family. And the 7th jar, the one with her name. She filled it slowly, with moments, with choices, with a version of herself she was still becoming. That jar? That's your purpose, your gift. You're allowed to do both, William had said, survival and living. She was doing it now. She was filling the jar with herself, the parts she had hidden, the parts she was finding. One morning, she woke up, looked at the jars, and finally understood. The jars were never meant to be permanent. They were lessons, not prisons. They were meant to be broken, to teach her what to hold. She picked up each one. Fear, regret, identity. She looked at them for the last time, and then she decided. Break what needs breaking. Liberation. She threw them against the wall. Shatter. They broke. She bled. She laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was finally true. The jars were just containers, cages she didn't need anymore. She was free. Truth. To teach her what to hold and what to release. Standing in the wreckage, barefoot, bleeding, free. She was no longer just maintaining. She was finally, truly alive. She kept 4 jars: necessity, desire, love, and her own. The rest, swept up, thrown away. She realized life is not about filling jars. It's about knowing which ones to empty. The walls were gone. She went back to that beach, the one from the old photo, with her father. She scattered his ashes at sunrise, Maya beside her, silent, present. The world was vast and full of light. She thought about what her mother wrote, about the difference between maintaining and living. Her mother was right. Her father was right. She had been right too, just about different things. Peace. Finally. She opened the 7th jar, poured in sand from the beach, added a stone, added a breath. That's what the jar was for. Not achievements, not answers. Moments. Collected, imperfect, alive, collected by living. We are given 7 jars. We are told to fill them all. But the ones we break show us what we never needed. The walls we build aren't wisdom. They are cages. Break what needs breaking. Live. And the one with our name, that one, we fill by living. This is your purpose. Don't maintain, live, collecting moments, imperfect, alive.